welcome to True Love Talk. My name is Bridget, Erhabor, author of True Love, More Than a Love Affair. And here on this channel, we talk about the love of God using the marriage relationship as an example, just like it's used in Ephesians chapter 5. Now, today I'm excited about talking to you about children. Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to be talking somehow to the parents, but actually this is directed at the children. You know, I was in a conference not too long ago, and some of the youth had an opportunity to talk to to speak concerning certain issues that concern them. And one of the things was about conversations, the parents having conversations with the children. So I thought that that was quite interesting, and I do agree that parents should actually have conversations with the children. And most of the time, that's the most popular thing, that parents need to, sit their children down and talk to them, have times with them. However, I have another area that I want to kind of highlight today, and that's the area of the children calling the parents, sitting them down to actually talk to them. Absolutely. One of the concerns that youth usually have is that the parents don't really, sometimes they don't see them as already grown-ups. They sometimes treat them like children, even though they may be adults. And we talk about adults as 18, 21 and things like that. And I'm not going to say too much about that right now. However, I'm going to speak into some of these things, not just as a parent, as a mom. My husband and I have been married for over 27 years. We have 8 children. I usually say 9 because I have a son-in-law. Absolutely. But I myself have been a child once, and I'm talking from the point of view of a believer. So, this is the thing for you youths out there who are having trouble with your parents, not recognizing that you're already mature, not, taking time to have conversations with you. Do you know that you can sit your parents down and have conversations with them? If you do that, it will show your parents that you are mature. Absolutely. Yes. That happened to me. Growing up, I didn't have the privilege that some of you have, where you have parents who sit down and talk to you about everything and, wipe your tears and all those kind of things. Absolutely good. I didn't even have parents who knew God the way that I did and I do now. But through us, children, we are 8 of us, they came to know Christ. So I'm encouraging you, especially those of you who are believers there, that instead of feeling like, oh, my parents don't understand, and being angry at your parents, because I discovered that there are many young people who are actually angry at their parents, and because they're angry at their parents, they begin to rebel, and this actually makes things worse. Not just it makes things worse when it comes to the relationship between them and their parents, and also it makes things worse, your relationship with God. Why would you be rude to your parents and keep malice or anger and be rebellious and stuff? It's gonna kind of hinder your relationship with the Lord, because you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. There is a better way. You can actually walk in the wisdom of God. And this is what I did when I was growing up. My parents were, not exactly the kind of liberal parents that we have these days. They were more traditional. But when I got saved, I would call them and sit them down and say certain things to them. And they would listen. I didn't do too much of it because I didn't stay at home too long, because I got married early, but while I was there, and the reason that they didn't have a problem with me getting married early was because they could see the maturity in me. They could see the maturity, and the maturity didn't just come from the fact that, hey, I'm so smart, but it came from the fact that I was, I was rooted and grounded in the Word of God and in the love of God at an early age. And so I took that maturity, that growth that I was experiencing from being in relationship with God. It helped me in my relationship with my family, with my parents. Now, I don't want to spend too much time, and maybe I will address some other things in my next video. But for this video, I want to say to you, there's an adage that says, what has the age of Methuselah got to do with the wisdom of Solomon? Absolutely. Methuselah, we know, was the oldest man that lived in scriptures, but the Bible doesn't talk about Methuselah's wisdom. it talks about Solomon's wisdom. And Solomon was very young when he ascended the throne. Yes, but God granted him wisdom. And you, as a young person, you can have the same kind of wisdom. The wisdom that will help you work with your parents to have the right kind of relationship. The wisdom that will help make, cause there to be peace in your home, rather than your parents being the one to say, wow, my child is so rebellious, my child is this and that, and you guys are going back and forth. How about you do this? I'm challenging every youth out there that gets this video. How about you be the wise one? How about you call your parents and sit them down and explain things to them and talk to them? I'm telling you, from a parent's point of view, your parents will hear you, because your parents are always thinking about you. They may not act like it, but they are always thinking about you. And sometimes when they may act a certain way that may seem harsh, or act a certain way that may seem like, oh, this is so unreasonable, it is because they're of concern. And some parents don't really know how to, use the wisdom of God to deal with things, but they deal with it from anxiety and fear, and so they make harsh decisions and say you have to do this and you have to do that and stuff like that. So when you find your parents putting you in that position when you're kind of 18, 21 and say you have to do this, you have to do that, instead of looking at your parents and saying, oh, my parents are so mean, they don't, look at yourself and check your behavior. How are you behaving towards your parents that is making them feel like they have to put such harsh judgments or, talk to you in such a way? Because I can guarantee you that if you would do the things that you ought to do, the way you ought to do it at home with wisdom, your parents will have no choice but to calm down. Absolutely, they would calm down. Yeah. So maybe in my next video, I may talk a little bit about how you can approach your parents. But I'm telling you, just right here, right now, there's no parent that you will go and grab and hug them and say, Mom, Dad, I love you. And certain things are not going very well right now with us. Can we take a minute? Can we talk a little bit? And then you explain certain situations to them. I'm telling you, things will go absolutely amazing. The only thing that will stop you from doing what I'm doing right now is if you're a child who wants to sin, who wants to do bad stuff, and you don't want anybody to tell you anything about it. Now, maybe this video is not for you, but the area of this video that is for you is that I'm encouraging you to change your ways, to look at what the Word of God says and live your life according to the Word of God. It's a much better life than any other kind of life that is out there, because God's thoughts towards you, they are thoughts of peace, to give you a hope and a future, to give you an expected end beyond your wildest imagination. So come on, you young man, young woman, be a grown-up. Call your parents, talk to them, love on them. They would listen to you because they love you more than anybody else on this world after God. God bless. So subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in another True Love Talk.